Coming up on today's podcast featuring Joe, Lee and Dale.
Without Andy Cook there, we would not be quite at the step up that we were this season.
This time around, they're playing first because last year they got it wrong, didn't they?
When I heard the news, I was shocked by it. I was thinking, we're letting another youngster go on.
So we're going to get someone who's got like a big record, more the record.
Like Joe.
Yeah, hi, yeah.
On her day, she's unplayable. So I would say she's a very good signing. Even that's getting Joe the tingles. So
Sue, if you're watching this, I'm going to call it out from now on.
no, we're just talking like Sue or who's Sue. People are thinking, who's Sue? Who's this Sue they keep getting on about? Hello everyone, welcome back. We are in person this time. If you're watching on video, hello everyone on YouTube, hope you're doing alright. If you're watching on audio, we are in the corner house situated. Where's it situated, Joe?
Just outside of Jesmond Dean on the Coast Road. Lovely little venue. Probably plenty is around the northeast one now where the corner house is. What a venue it is. Good place for a drink, good place for watch the match and that as well.
I would probably just say Coast Road somewhere. Next to Heaton. That's probably where I would say. Near the Freeman.
Well, you are the driver. You are the driver at the end of the day, so you would know better. I'm terrible with directions.
Yeah, so welcome everybody. We're going to be talking about in this episode Andy Cook leaving because that was a massive surprise. The Sela Cup. Kiera Skelton's got a new role with Middlesbrough. A new signing is through the door and hopefully many more to come. And finally we have a new sporting director. Will that influence any decisions being made on NUFC Women? You've heard Joe speak there. Dale, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you very much for having us on.
Welcome. Joe, how are you?
Fantabby Josie, a little bit tired, been straight back from work, but no, ready to get this in. Plenty to talk about, lots to talk about.
There is lots to get talked about, and let's start with Andy Cook, which was a bit of a bombshell, wasn't it? Because it came out of the blue. However, me and you talked, Joe, in what's happened there. Do you think when he was missing for the Halifax game down in Leeds, that could have been the moment where he's been given permission to speak to them?
He's had to have, because I mean, when do you have an assistant manager? If they're not unwell, when do you actually have an assistant manager getting a full day off from a match, especially important league game at the time as well? It's the only thing it could have been, really, if you ask me, and I don't hold that against Andy. You've got to do what you've got to do in this sport. It's bittersweet, but yeah, I definitely think he was away talking to them, getting a little feel for the ground, maybe doing some media, talking his contract, seeing what their ambition and plan is. Because obviously you've got to remember they were tier 4 side, so he's dropping down 2 tiers. It's a big drop for him. Big drop.
I thought they were tier 3 actually.
No, I'm certain they're tier 4.
I thought they were in North Division South. Anyways, they're dropping down.
Fact check that. Stat check that. Matt Walby, get on now.
Dale, how surprised were you? Because it was.
I was shocked. I couldn't believe that. But like what Joe said, it's his decision. He wanted to go. He loved being here. Like we talked to him a number of occasions, and he loved his role, helping the lasses progress, helping Becky. But I think it's like he wants to have his turn at being the manager, trying to get them. And Norwich couldn't find anyone better.
It's a good compliment, Dale. I mean, we've interacted with him throughout the season. We'll talk about that in a minute. But what impact, Joe, when he first come in, did he have on the squad going professional?
Look, and this is no slight on Becky Langley at all, but when we went professional and we brought in Andy Cook, it was strange. He's just come from Nottingham Forest. He's just won a trophy, 2 trophies with Nottingham Forest. Why are you coming to be an assistant manager when you've done that achievement as a manager? And he came in and, oh my goodness, I know a lot of people say just going professional was a big part of why the Lasses became so much better. Andy Cook stepping in, we got the chance last season to go and have a watch of them training, and it's amazing. Andy takes half the session, Becky takes the other half, and they've got such different styles of how they manage and how they approach training. And it's hard to say that without Andy Cook there, we would not be quite at the step up that we were this season. The dominant force we were this season, I do not believe would have happened if we did not have Andy Cook on that assistant manager helm. I'm happy to go on and see it. I honestly thought that Andy would stay with us until the point that Becky left Newcastle, and Andy would be the next person to take over the club. May that still happen in the future? It's possible. However, yes, I believe he is one of the biggest factors to us performing the way we have this season. And
I agree. I agree. I said to you as well. I thought he's not assistant manager. He's not really. He's a manager who's come in and look. You'd have a good wage. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's money with him because you can see now he's dropped down. to Norwich and being number one again. And you're all right, I thought he's just made, if anything, if Becky wanted to go on to bigger things, or maybe results weren't going correctly and they need a change of management, and he's literally just sitting there thinking, right, okay, I'm ready for you. But Dale, do you agree with what Joe was saying? They're going professional, and you've seen the training session, you were up there with us, the changes, the transition from going semi-pro to pro. He has a massive role in that, doesn't he?
Yeah, definitely. When we were there at the training session, you can tell, like what Joe said, there was half and half. Becky was more on the attacking side, while Andy was more basically talking about the tactics and the defensive roles, and like obviously telling the lasses, this is what I want you to do. And you could tell the lasses loved Andy, they loved working there. They can just see the energy, even if it was only a training session, but you can tell it was like competitive. Like, I want to get in this team, and you can just tell by the training session. So Andy has elevated us to the really to high levels of professional coaching and everything. Now the time is we need to get someone either the same as Andy, the levels, or better.
We'll come to that question. That's coming up. It is coming up, but he's got time for a lot of people, and by God, can he half talk? And I'm sure Andy doesn't mind us saying that, because me and Joe have both experienced the interviews.
Andy was my first, I've went on about this loads, but he was my first interview for NFTV.
You're always going to remember that now.
I will always remember that, Andy. Thank you so much, because he made that so easy. My nerves were through the roof at that point, and Andy I was shaking. I wasn't ready for it. I was like, what about this? What about this? And Andy he talks. He's not a guy who's just waffling on like I do, and you're like, how Joe, shut up. He's got so much intelligence about him, so much presence in his words. What a manager he is. I don't care what happens with him, he is becoming a phenomenal piece in women's football, without a doubt.
Yeah, he had a lot of time for us, and I'm having a bit of a joke, because that's what we like as interviewers, people who can talk and not just give you a few words, because you're always having to think of the next question. You just had 3 questions for Andy, next thing you know, you've got a 5-6 minute interview. But he has thanked us on social media, me and Joe, because we reached out to him as well. So I'm going to quote what he's actually said. He said about the video that Joe, you put out, he tweeted and said, "Thank you for the compliments, Kenja." So everyone still calls him Kenja. And he also said to me, when I said, "Look, Andy, you've done fantastic with the club, your professionalism, what you brought, so on, you've been a joy, you've been really nice to us, NFTV, when we've chatted you on and off camera." And he turned around and said, "It's been my pleasure, you guys do so much for the team, keep up doing the work," which is incredible, and that's really nice for someone to go out their way. On the day he was appointed Norwich manager, by the way, he was doing that, and that shows you the calibre of a man that he is. He's going to be missed. Obviously, you've talked about Norwich playing in a lower tier, but do you think he'll do well?
Yeah. I'll say in a couple of 3 seasons, I would say Norwich will probably be either in the Super League, or
that's a big call, that
or on the verge of it, just like we are now.
That's a big call, man, considering where they are. But look, he wants to be his own number one, doesn't he? So
please prove it's right, Andy. Please.
Otherwise, that might get clipped up in a couple of years' time. But
can you remember where Norwich was? And then start on there.
Well, who replaces them though? Because who makes that decision? Obviously, we've seen with Paul Mitchell, which we are going to talk about a little bit later. Who's the one who makes the assistant manager's role? Is it Becky, Joe? Is it Sue? Is it a combination? Or does Paul Mitchell have a say in that?
You would. If Paul Mitchell is going to weigh in on this women's team, unlike certain other people who don't weigh in on their team, Manchester United, hopefully Paul Mitchell is going to weigh in, and I think it's something that's going to come down to Becky, Paul and Sue. I think other people will have their say, but I don't think, and obviously no disrespect, I don't think it's going to go far. At the end of the day, Sue's the head. She needs almost a final say, make sure the right person's coming in from the job. Becky, it's going to be her colleague day to day. She needs to make sure she's got someone she can communicate with, someone who can elevate her. Iron sharpens iron at the end of the day. And if Paul Mitchell is really going to be stepping into this women's team like it looks like, yes, then he has to have a say as well, because at the end of the day, his whole objective and his whole job is to elevate this whole club by bringing in the right personnel, by bringing in the right players. So let's hope that them 3 can come together and really...
Is this wood?
No, it's metal, but...
Steel's head. Dale, I want to come to you. Is it too soon for Paul Mitchell to have a say, though? Because he's just literally just walked through the door. Although it's probably been lined up for a few weeks.
I would say yes, too soon now. I think, obviously, Sue, Becky, all 3 of them have got, have a meet... obviously they will have a meeting. we'll have a meeting to see like what each and other's plans are, and then obviously going forward, like.
Do you want your say, Ferdinand? For people that are listening, our little Frenchie's joined us on table here, and he looks like he's now a fourth pundit, a fourth analyst, but he's decided to climb up, and you're not allowed on that table. Come on, watch he doesn't knock anything over, Dale. There we're gone. This is what happens when you're filming, everybody. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see who comes in, and no doubt Becky will want, because as Joe says, Becky's going to be working with him or her day in, day out, and they're all professional and going to spend probably a lot more time than they do with some of the family. So it's a big call, and we'll eagerly anticipate who gets that. But best of luck from all three of us to Andy Cook. Absolutely top bloke.
And I've said it on social media, Andy, keep them dad jokes coming. You have to keep them coming because they are phenomenal. I'll be looking out for them.
Yeah, I don't think Liv Watt's too happy with them, I don't think. But congratulations to Liv Watts as a homeowner. Yeah, yes, congratulations. Yes. We're going to move on to the Sela Cup, our second topic today. Dale, I'll come to you, and this is great to see them back at St James's.
It is. Like, you can see, like, I've been at St James's for the men and the women's, in no matter what, like, the turnout for both of them have been incredible. And hopefully, well, I don't see why I'm saying hopefully, it's going to be a sellout, I think. Well,
I see what you did there.
Depending on...
You did mean that, did you?
Yes, of course I mean that, because I'm a professional.
It's a sellout.
Yeah, a sellout, yeah, with the Sela Cup. Comedy jokes, guys.
Andy Cook, I thought you'd left. But there we gone. But it is, look, it's brilliant. But Joe, this time around, they're playing first. Because last year, they got it wrong, didn't they?
Oh, completely wrong. I mean, and I think I've got enough credit to say this with what we do with the women's football, but at the minute, women's football, especially in the North East, hasn't got the biggest following. It hasn't got the most positive reviews online and such, unless you come to the right areas and look at the right fans. So to put them on after everything said and done, majority of people are going to be like, well, I don't care about women's football, why would I bother to watch this? And they've left. What people don't realise is what they're missing with this women's game, and it's not just the ability, the drive, and I'll happily go on record as saying that our lasses put more heart into this overall this past season than what the men did. They really did. I get the men had a lot of issues. Hey, the women did as well. But there is so much there that is befitting of what we are. Geordies, black and white through and through. And you need to be able to see the women play, to put them on at 1 o'clock, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's earlier.
Yeah, 1 o'clock, perfect time. Get the kids down there. The kids are going to have a wicked day. No doubt they're going to see some of the players up close and personal at times. More chance than they're going to have with the men. And you're going to find out what these lasses really have to show. And it's not, again, just about the players on the pitch. Wait till you hear some of the fans. I'm talking Bernie, I'm talking all of them. There is such an amazing community with this women's game. And to put it on at 1 o'clock before everyone goes, whoever put that in, well done.
Because last year we had 3 games in it. Even I was at St James's Park, it was like, oh, this is a slog, this, you know. As much as I love my football, we had the Nice game on at first, and then we had the Newcastle game second, and then the women's third. And by the time, especially if you've got kids, you've been there 4 or 5 hours, and there's another game, the women's, and naturally a lot of people in it. It was sad to see because probably there was only about 2,000 to 3,000 in the whole stadium by the time the lasses kicked off, and that was really disappointing. And I don't think we're the only ones to say that. But Joe's just trying to make a great point there, Dale. New signings have the chance to play. Hopefully there'll be more. We'll talk about the new one in a minute. But new signings have never experienced that, like, bloody hell, look at the size of that ground, you know what I mean? But also for the locals, because the likes of Georgia Gibson be like, right, I'm going to play St James's Park again, or Grace Donnelly, I cannot wait, me. You know, I'm going to score at the Gallagher again. For those 2 sets of, I wouldn't say individual, 2 groups, it's another fantastic experience.
It is. It's like, it's one of them things. It's like in everyone's, like, men and women's, like, all the dream is to play for you, like, your local club, and like even to step on the pitch, like it
doesn't matter if it's the first time or the 10th time.
No, it makes no difference. No matter what, like. I know fine for I'll get goosebumps even if I was on there for like 5 minutes. I'll be like, wow, this is St James's Park. You see the whole ground looking up there going like, I was up that stand.
Mate, we get goosebumps walking in the press area at Kingston Park, man.
I know. Yeah, but it's one of them things. It's like I was lucky enough that I wasn't on the grass, but like I did like a music gig, so obviously I was pulling all the things there, and just walking across there and looking at around the ground, it was like no one was there, but it's just goosebumps. It was just like looking there, going, wow. Now I know how the players felt. So obviously it was like even stepping out there, like even if it's like for the men's it's 52,000, the women's we got like 30,000 there. It's still going to be an epic occasion no matter what.
Because you'll have more and more people coming through, and the opposition's unnamed as of yet, but of course we will see practically shortly who the club start to announce for pre-season.
Maybe it could be Norwich.
Imagine it. Couldn't imagine it.
Andy's homecoming.
Maybe it could be Unity.
Yeah, well that hasn't been.
Was your shout, Lee?
Yeah, they have asked for it, and then I don't think the Unity lads don't mind us saying it on record that they have asked the club for a friendly. So we'll have to see whether that's with the devs or it's with the first team. We'll see about 6 fills once again. Cause
Too many fills.
There you go. That's what it's the thing we can do. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see who the opposition is, but the opposition will bite the chance at St James's Park, and Sunderland have announced that. Not that we want to talk about them. They're going to play at the Stadium Light 4 times next season. You would think one of them will be against us, and hopefully that we do as well as St James's Park, because it's good playing at Kingston Park, don't get me wrong, but St James's Park is, I wouldn't even say it's one level better. It's a tower block better, isn't it? Let's be honest. But I do want to touch upon kind of a side note about the league, because we've lost a team in Reading. It's not really much to do with the Sela Cup, but I wanted to bring this up because I don't think we'll have a chance to talk about it really. We've lost a team in Reading, and it's not just, there's 2 things I want to touch upon with you, Joe, is that means it's a 20-game season now, not a 22. Your thoughts on you mentioned women's football just before. Reading are in crisis in the men and the women. It's just sad to see it, and we've seen it with Thornaby as well recently.
It's... Again, touching upon it, it's the state of women's football at the moment. I know a lot of people say it and think, it's doing well, and it is. It's going the right places. But when you see clubs like Reading, again, you've mentioned
even Man U,
and that's I'm literally about to say Man United women at the moment. Jim Ratcliffe coming out publicly saying he's going to put more investment and he doesn't care quite as much about roughly them words as well. Don't quote us exactly that, but roughly them words into the men's team rather than the women's. The women's have been forced out the training ground, and that's a Super League club. So when you think about a team like Reading, and their women's team has ended up dropping down, I think I read somewhere that they've got to reapply to enter the 5th tier. That's reapplication. That's not an easy process when you look at it. Some of the biggest teams have been through that. We just need more focus on this, which is important, again, not to try and sort of Sela, but going back to Sela Cup, putting the women on at 1 o'clock, we need more things like happening like that across the whole board in the United Kingdom for women's football, because it's a great community sport. And I've said this to Rob Acken before on the Facebook media group, anyone who doesn't see, and I hate to put it like this, but at the end of the day, it's what corporations want to look at. Anyone who doesn't see a cash cow in women's football is an idiot. And now it's not something where it's just exploiting people. It's not that. It's wholesome stuff. You can literally invite whole families and make more off one family than you will off one person coming to a men's match. You can make so much more money. You can bring so many more together. Why aren't we tapping into it more? And this isn't just Newcastle. We're doing great at that. Why aren't other clubs following these examples? We followed examples of others. Man City, that's an ideal. Amanda Staveley's went on. She wants that sort of setup. Readings, Thornaby's, your Man United women's, all of them need to be looking to do better for the women's game.
I totally agree. And do you know what's also sickening? I'll call it sickening. Is that it doesn't affect the FFP. So you've got now to lose, invest in the women, and women can't play football, but go down and have a look, because Newcastle United women can certainly play football.
Ooh.
Can they not? But we'll move on with third topic, which is Kiera Skelton, who is a fantastic footballer. Just sad to see her injuries. I think her injuries cost her a place as a new contract, but great to see her get a new club so quick.
Yeah, when I heard the news, I was shocked by it. I was thinking, we're letting another youngster go on.
She's only 19.
Exactly. So she's got time on her side. She's not like 29, 30 on, she's injury prone all the time. No, she's 19. It's a shame, but I'm happy that she's got another local club, Middlesbrough. I know, I count Middlesbrough as a derby. I think Joe does too, but Lee doesn't count it as a derby. I know, and I can see where he's coming from, but to me, all North East teams are a derby. Even if it was like Newcastle Gateshead, we went there for that friendly, it would still count as a derby.
The reason why, before I get slaughtered, is because Middlesbrough's 35 miles away. That's not it's not next door to her. Whereas you look at the Northwest, people don't see Burnley versus Manchester United as a derby. It's the same distance. Do you know what I mean? It's the same distance from us to Middlesbrough, so that's the reason why I don't. I get it. It's a northeast thing, and you might have families in between who live in Durham who might support one. I get that, but for people up here, for me, it's a local game, but it's not Sunderland. It's not like a next door thing. But back on topic. Thank you. Just want to defend me with 50p piece there. I know the answer to this. I don't really have to tell you this, but she will do well at Middlesbrough, won't she?
Nah, she'll do terrible. No, yeah, Kiera's going to... Even Charlotte Potter's went on record of saying how much she appreciates Kiera Skelton being next to her on a pitch. Yeah. That's Charlotte Potter, ladies and gentlemen. That is people who the fans voted player of the season, who was player of the season for the club last season. Charlotte Potter saying that about a young player.
And should have been player of the season.
Yeah, aye.
And player of the season.
Yeah, that's the fans' player.
But we'll stay off that.
So, yeah, Kiera is going to do absolutely phenomenal, and I don't see why not. And this is something we've spoke about quite a bit. Dale, you've mentioned it before, and I'm surprised you didn't mention it there. Middlesbrough has a multitude of ex-Newcastle players.
Oh, I'm going to name them in a minute.
Beth Guy, Lauren Robson, Jane Holland, obviously now we've got Kiera Skelton. I am missing a few here.
I'll name them in a minute for you.
There's a few. I know Daisy Burt went there for a bit on loan, yes. There's a few more we're missing. Now, what's to say some of these players who are young, you like Kiera Skelton, who's 19, go and get some good experience at Middlesbrough, and in a year's time or 2 years' time, we go, you know what, we need a bit of a backup here. Borough could loan Kiera Skelton back, like.
Or buy her back.
And Borough's going to go away. Man U's are going to put a good... Well, I can't do a Borough accent, but you know, smoggy accent. But yeah, they're going to take the money off her, and they're going to love that, and it's a great trade back and forth between Borough. I like the relationship we seem to have with Borough women. It's quite good, almost like a training ground.
So yeah, I'll name them. Goalkeeper Laura Wareham, Jane Harland. Obviously, you've mentioned defender Ellen Packham. Another one, Millie Bell. She's been there. Beth Guy. Lauren Robson and Sarah Byrne as well, who scored a worldie past us last season for Durham, Sestria. But and obviously we've talked about Daisy Burt being there as well. And Dale, I kind of heard you whisper there, and just underneath your breath there. But will we see any more ex-Newcastle players who recently left us head to Middlesbrough?
Tyler Dodds.
You reckon that can happen?
I've just been there before. I don't see why not. Joining all of our pals. It's like. I think
reunion they're doing there now.
I think Middlesbrough would count as like a Newcastle B team.
Yeah. Kind of effectively is.
Kind of is, but it's good to see though. It's just like what Joe said. It's like a kind of like a feeder club, well, like a parent club in Middlesbrough. So like with feeder, we're just sending you ex players, get you promoted a bit more and all that. But
it is great that Middlesbrough can do that. Because obviously now Newcastle are going to be a driving force, and they should very shortly be the top dog in, no pun intended, with Ferdinand about in the northeast football. Because for many years it's been Sunderland, and now we're in the same division. But obviously it's loads of ex-players ahead in there, and we might even loan one or two back. But Middlesbrough were very close. As the last one I talked about Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough were very close to getting promoted. Are they going to do it?
I think they're on the way to it. I do. I think they're rising. I think it's going to be. In a couple of years' time, you're going to have the whole Sunderland, Borough and Newcastle thing happening again, where it's like, right, this time we're going to have Borough Newcastle this season, next season we're going to have, you never know who's going to be fighting each other. I think we'll always be top dogs, like you say, again. We've just got to beat them Black Cats this season twice. But yeah, no, I think Borough's on the way to it. They're going to be promoted. They're on the way to good things. At the end of the day, they're getting players from the best club in the northeast, so why wouldn't they be on the way?
Yeah, there have been pinching players who naturally can't either go pro or have been let go. But at one stage at the back end of last season, you nearly had all three clubs get promoted, and then it's Sunderland, Newcastle, and Middlesbrough. But thankfully, Hull went up from the third tier, and also from the top championship tier. It was a Palace. It was a Palace, wasn't it?
Yeah, Palace.
It was Palace. I'm going to talk about a new signing. Finally, me and Joe hope we have a lot more to talk about in the next few weeks.
Need to do this Sean, yeah, heel style, don't I?
So he's getting something out of his bag for the people that are listening. The shades. He's put the shades on for those who are listening, because she does seem to have a bit of swagger, a bit of style. So I am going to touch upon very, very shortly. But Dale, I'll come to you. Obviously, we're all still learning about women's football because everyone tries to think they're an expert, and I'm no expert. It's Shania Hales. This is a true fact, right? Sam messages. Oh, you know what he's saying in the main group? It goes, is that Barry Hale's daughter?
Yeah.
Link, because Barry Hale's played for Jamaica, didn't he?
Yeah, very.
I don't think there's any relation there. But she joins from Bristol City, WSL side. A forward who looks like she's different to Bridget and Paige, where she's not the type that wants the ball to feet and hold it up. She looks like the type she has pace and trickery and want to take on a player and have a little bit of magic. What's your thoughts on that signing?
Well, most importantly, we're getting signings in to replace like the forwards that we're getting rid of. So I don't know much. Like I say, I don't know much about her, but we'll see in the friendlies from time to time if she plays. We'll see with the then first couple of games in the season. Just see there, like you never know. She could be a brilliant signing and a top goal scorer, but we'll cast judgment after probably halfway through the season.
We are going to play a clip that she put out on the socials, but I'm going to put some music over it because it's not obviously owned by the club, it's owned by the player. And we also I'm going to get a quote from Rachel Furness as well because I've been speaking to her about it. But Joe, a record, the first thing people do, we'll get the negativity out, because the first thing people do is look at the goal scoring record, and at the WSL last season she didn't score. She did score one in the Cup, but you've got to consider that's 2 tiers higher than what we were last season. We've just been promoted, but she has a fantastic goal scoring record at this level.
One thing I look at, because again, people are like, oh, goals, she hasn't scored many or whatever. She's got goals on record for when she's been a Villa. She's got goals on record elsewhere. If you want to go and look at her for goals, I think she's got over 50-60 career goals, if I'm right.
Right here for you.
I'm not even looking down at this, and I'm going off what I've read. But yeah, look, from what I've seen of her previously watching, I've watched a lot of Super League and Championship football in the past few years, and she is a player who is going to come in and can, I don't see why not. We can't drop her into the centre forward role that sort of Paige or Bridget was playing. Feed her off Katie Barker, feed her off Beth Lumsden. She's got a lot of potential. She's got a lot of pace. She's got a lot of control. She's someone who's going to be very impressive, I think, and it's going to be a very, very big statement signing. Obviously, there's more to come, and I think there's probably going to be signings that'll be bigger name signings, bigger statement name signings, but I think this is one with Hales where she's going to really, really, really hit the ground running and could well be a mainstay. 24 years of age, very good stats under her belt, and it's hard to get assists, people. It's very hard to get assist stats in this day and age for women's football. Do better! Seems to be my whole rant this episode. But yeah, so let's consider a lot more than just how many goals has she scored, because that isn't going to matter. You've seen how many of our players can score goals. Swagger on.
Try and spin it on a positive, because I do have a goal scoring record in front of me for career. She is still relatively young, 24, left-footed, Jamaican international, born in England. Kind of gives you vibes of a striker last season, but totally different. But she started last season on the 17-18, just made one appearance. Fine, that's for Birmingham. Got a few more games, and this is in the WSL, by the way. Got a few more games for Birmingham net the following season, 18-19, 5 games, but she did chip in with 3 goals in the Cup. So for a youngster at that time, she would have been, 18-19. Moved to Villa, a rival. That would have been interesting. That takes a bit of character to do that. Into the Championship, she's just played 5 games, 3 goals. That's a good record there. 2 goals in the League Cup. Went in the WSL, where she struggled a little bit. 19 games for Villa, 2 goals, but 2 extra goals in the League Cup as well. And then in the WSL, she didn't score the following season. But I think with Villa, I don't think she was a regular out and out at Aston Villa. But the same as Bristol City, when she dropped to the Championship and joined Bristol City, that's where she scored 1 and 2 basically. She scored 11 goals in the league out of 22 games, another goal in the FA Cup. Last season, we touched upon, she didn't hit the dizzy heights, but I think at this level, I think this is an excellent signing. I don't know whether she'll progress and go on to the WSL with us, but goal scoring stats, I'll give it to you. She's made total appearances of 103 and she's chipped in with 25. So you got that a little bit wrong there, just a bit, which is a goal scoring record of 1 and 4 basically. But not all of them games are starts and regulars. A lot of them are coming off the bench 15-20 minutes trying to make an impact, and I think that's where we've got to look at it. I think Newcastle, do you think we'll go out and sign another striker? Because I do.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
dedicated striker. We're needed.
Someone who bangs in goals.
Yes, we're going to get someone who's got like
A record.
a big record, more the record.
Like Joe.
Yeah, hi, yeah.
Her personality though, which you've just kind of touched upon with her sunglasses and that, she won Community Player of the Year. Now, people are going to say, what does that mean? It basically means that she's picked up an award for the charity work that she does for the foundation of Bristol City, which is fantastic, because you've got to remember, these aren't paid 30, 40, 50 grand a week. These are on basically probably a living wage is what Bristol City are on, but she got an award for that, which is absolutely fantastic. And she said, and I'll quote her, grateful for this award. It's been amazing meeting everybody this season. Being able to give back is very important to me, so I'm happy that I've had the opportunity to do that. Does that show you, Dale, that she'll just fit in perfectly at Newcastle?
Yeah, definitely. She's just that kind of lass that will just walk in, say hi to everyone in training, just get stuck in, just like, right, what we're trained to do, and just get on. And then she'll just link up players. I think she'll just link up with, because obviously Barker's quick there, so I think it's going to be it's going to be like a partnership straight away, and she's going to bang in all the goals, and we're just going to hit the ground running.
Can you imagine Alicia Body sitting just behind?
Well, they know each other, don't they?
Yeah, Body. This is what I mean. Body and Hales have already had, I believe they've got time together. Cataldo as well. They've all got the same agent as well. And Body feeding into Hales, Barker on the left, Lumsden right. Like one signing, I'm already very excited about the things we can do.
Do you know what? I mentioned the video. Take a look at another video here. So I think that's, we're video editors, I think that's quite creative.
It is indeed.
Oh, thank you very much, Dale. Well, and that's the end of the show then, everybody. So basically, I think she's either got her agent with her or someone with her, because that was out the same day, and she's literally, you've seen in the video, she's in the taxi 4:30 in the morning, going to Bristol's airport, and flying up to Newcastle, going for the Rigma. I've seen the stadium, doing the pictures with Serena and getting a medical done. But I thought that was creative.
Brilliantly creative. I think if you look as well though, Alicia's got the whole TikTok touch as well. Cataldo seems to like it. Is this something to do with Freya, the agent of them all? Are you the mastermind behind this? Are you the competition we've got this season? Because Freya, I'll take you on. And all 3 years, I'll take you on in some editing competitions. Let's go. But no, excellent work. Unreal to see. And it's that thing about Community Player Award that she's won. Like, you're getting involved and you're getting these fans in, you're getting more eyes on her making content like that. It might not take like a little bit of time, it might take a while, but you're doing it, your dedication's there, you want to showcase the things that you're doing, you want to showcase this sport. Go for it, man.
It's getting your name out there, it's being creative, and it's people remember that shit, they do. What she said on joining, I'm absolutely delighted to sign for this club. I've heard such great things and I can't wait to get started. I know the fan base is brilliant. and I can't wait to be playing in front of them all, in front of the in the black and white shirt. And obviously Becky has worked with her briefly at Aston Villa when Becky was there, so she knows her from there. And I'm sure Rachel Furness doesn't mind me quoting her what she said about her, because I messaged her on Instagram. She said that she's a great person, and I'm sure she'll be great in that environment with her experience in the Championship. On her day, she's unplayable. So I would say she's a very good signing. Even that's getting Joe the tingles. So, I mean, Dale, on her day, so does that tell us she might have a little bit inconsistency, but on her day, she can just rip a few people apart?
On paper, it sounds like, yes, she's going to be like an inconsistent. Some days she'll be having fantastic days, scoring, like, could be scoring hat-tricks.
On paper?
On paper, yeah, on paper. But it all comes down... It comes down to the real...
I don't know if that was a pun meant again, I don't know.
What can I say upon them out? But being serious though, like, on, like, people can say the things, but what it comes down to is the match itself. So everyone could say that, but you could just absolutely be... Everyone has the off days, but I still think she's going to be a great signing.
I noticed also on there that she said in that environment, with the experience that she's been there, she's done that, she's got promoted, she's been in a professional environment. Again, she's coming into a team who are already professional, yes, but a lot of them girls, minus one or two, who have never been promoted.
This is the type of stuff that we need to start doing and bringing in, and I'm very happy about it. We were obviously thinking that we were going to start bringing in players of a higher profile. I think a lot of people were worried that they were going to be players who maybe don't care quite as much about the whole community as a whole, and I don't mean that in a horrible way. It's above and beyond when they care, but you're bringing in a player who has ambition. You're bringing in a player who is going to come into this environment, like Rachel said, and she's going to thrive. Why are you going to thrive in this environment? Because it's ambitious, because it wants you to push and push and push, and it wants you to interact with its fans, it wants you to interact with its community, it wants you to be involved with this city as a whole, which is black and white through and through. I think Hales is going to just shine. I'm very excited to see what she brings to just the whole community, not just the pitch and not just the matches. Can't wait for everything. Let's go.
I think Joe's going to love her. I reckon it's going to be your and Emmy's.
Well, as well, if I've read right, apparently she has a dog called Emmy as well, and I've told my Emmy that, and Emmy is apparently, this is her favourite player now already. So, Shania, you've got a number one fan already. Let's go.
Yeah, we'll have to see first pre-season game with Joe's there. It'll be straight hour. So yeah, fantastic signing. Hopefully we're reporting more on that as well in the next couple of weeks, because we've got to remember the season doesn't kick off till September, so we're still a little bit away, a couple of months. But Paul Mitchell, sporting director, and we want to talk about him. Obviously we all know what he's going to be doing for the first team, but a sporting director's role, we'll come at that in a minute, but again, I'll come back to, I've asked you actually, I'll come back to you, Joe, on this, his role with the club, but I want to point out the women's side. It's surely to aid Sue and Becky, not go against.
Oh, it has to be. This whole project that we've seen, we'll go back to Andy, bringing in Andy, some of the players that were brought in, some of the coaches that we've been bringing in and switching about. It's all been about creating a bigger backroom staff. One thing you'll know, Lee, is how small that staff was at one point, and there wasn't as many people there. Now, if you want to go to the heights that Newcastle want to, you need a big unit who can all support each other and elevate each other. Go back to that iron sharpens iron thing. So I think it's definitely a come in and assist, and maybe be able to look at things from a different angle that maybe Sue, we know how invested emotionally Sue is to this club. Maybe Paul...
Was at one point she keep saying, oh, we brought such and board, oh, we brought such and such, another one. It's like the staff's getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it was, and we know, and Sue knows that's what's needed. She needs more people to be able to turn around and go, right, I've got your opinion, I'm not so sure about that, I need your opinion. And I think Paul's going to be someone who's going to be able to come in and give that sort of outside looking in from the roles he's had in previous clubs. He's going to give that outside looking in sort of view to them. If they need advice, they can certainly go to Paul and go, what do you think of this? And he's going to be able to take his emotion, hopefully in any ways. Hope he doesn't get too sucked into the Geordie emotion. I really want this of a sporting director. I hope he is able to put his emotion aside and go, right, there's a job to be done. This club needs to be better regardless of what colour it is, regardless of what it is. This needs to be better. And I think that's what he's there to do. He's there to elevate and help create a bigger unit. Just needed.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see the relationship, the dynamics with Sue. For people who might not know who Sue is, because we're just talking about like she's like she's what auntie or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? But
I'm gonna call that. Sue, if you're watching this, I'm gonna call it that from now on.
no, we're just talking like Sue. Or who's Sue? People are thinking, who's Sue? Who's this Sue they keep getting on about? Sue is the head of women's sport at the club, basically. But she knows it's on a personal level. So a sporting director role, Dale, I'll come to you on this. Effectively, a sporting director should be the football expert, as in the whole club. They'll provide recommendations for players, academies and coaching appointments. Joe's literally just touched upon there. The staff getting bigger and bigger. With the academy, the devs, will we see further changes in the long run? And I mean by a better calibre of youth players coming through, someone who can actually break into the first team, like Jazz McQuaid. Is that the next step where we go and pinch and better players? Is pinching the right word? The facilities to get back better for the devs as well. Maybe to train with the same environment. The training complex is the first team. Where do you see the devs in the academy with Paul coming in?
I think what Paul would try and do is like with the development team. Obviously, we know they're smashing each league they're in. So maybe he'll try and put the development team in a higher division, give them more better.
Well, we are because the club got promoted. The youth development they're going to elite league.
Yeah, so that's what I think you'd be doing is like going around there, like sending. Hopefully, he's going to send people away. Right, I want you to go scout the west of England, and then just like if we're looking for a goalkeeper, right, I want a goalkeeper age display. Then send them away and see which youngsters we can bring in. Well, I wouldn't say steal, but like buy or inquire, like how much. And then just like, so we are going to keep bringing youngsters through. We're going to keep like bringing back the like kind of like the development team and just keep them on check.
Obviously, for me, I would like to see them in the same environment as Becky's team. Literally next pitch.
Yeah,
they have a base, and I think that needs to be, for me, I don't know how you feel, Joe, but for me that needs to be the mid to long term project where either the lasses get whatever they're going to do with Whitley Park, the men's training ground, where they're going to buy the next door or they're going to buy this big massive super complex where everyone's in there. The devs need to be in there.
I agreed. We need all our women's unit together now. They need to all be training. Yeah, definitely where they can seek advice from each other. Do you know, they're passing in corridors. You know, like imagine Georgina Spraggan Babe. I mean, it was probably a lot closer last season with the way our teams are. But imagine a Georgina Spraggan Babe every day in training past Bridget Galloway last season and ask her advice. How do I curve my shots better? How do I touch the ball down better? Like, can you give us a little bit of advice on this? How do I handle the pressure of a penalty? These are things that are important to have when you've got them all under that one unit. They're all coming in roughly the same times, and maybe some of them, like the players on the senior team, want to look into coaching. Well, what's stopping them from jumping over to the next pitch? Becky, the next session, can I just go over and try and train the youth for a bit? Go for it. You know, it creates that environment of, again, iron sharpens iron. So yes, they need to be all under one big house and one big unit. Just get them all there and get them all training together. It's essential.
Even like on the training sessions, like they do a half. So like half the development team and half of them, like the senior team. So both of them are like half and half, and they can learn it off each other. So like, one side they can learn off Becky, and then the assistant like will bring in the next one they get like there. So they're getting like trained off more like experienced like staff.
It's going to be interesting to see what it is with the women's stuff, because we all know the headlines are with the first team. We know that. But you touch upon signings as well, because he's going to have an influence. Maybe not so much this summer as much as maybe in the future. But you talk about big names. That's going to be surely down to Paul with his contacts and say, right, we're going to get international from the WSL to join us next season. We're a new promote. Let's say we get promoted. We dream whatever. We're being promoted. He's the guy that's going to go after the likes of, I don't know, give me a name.
But you even say it, you could go for likes of Mary Earps, a JC, Nikita Paris, your Millie Brights, any of the big names. Yes, the Lionesses, I get there's a lot of talk at the minute. Everyone's dream names. But these are, when you bring in someone like Paul Mitchell, who's got the sway, he's not in that position for no reason. He's obviously got the wherewithal to be able to go up to some of these big name players. He'll even go abroad, go to your Barcelonas and stuff like that, players who are out of favour, and he's going to be able to go. Come to Newcastle, you'll get first team play and we'll pay you wicked wages.
It's a no-brainer, isn't it? He's probably going to be the man to do that in the long term and have a proper and I'm sure they do have a proper scouting system, but a more comprehensive worldwide, if you want to say that, because you've got to look at the big clubs. If you want to be them, you've got to copy them in some extent, and then not just copy them, but then when you have copied them, what can you do better to get ahead of them, like to Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, and so on. And then if you look abroad, the likes of Paris and Barca and Real, whatever. Actually, Sam has had his say, believe it or not. He put a video out about Paul Mitchell. This is what he said. Back with you very shortly.
Just got promoted, instrumental in the signings of Van Dijk, Mane, all their kind of Wanyama, all them kind of players which they sold for a vast amount of profit. Went on to Tottenham, and then as well as RB Leipzig and the Red Bull group as a whole, and was really instrumental there into bringing in some top talent. So really positive move. And this is what I love the most about our ownership. We can speculate all we like, but when a deal gets done, it bang, comes out of nowhere and smacks you in the face at 9 a.m. on a Thursday morning. Bosh. Love it. Love that about our ownership. When a proper deal gets done, it's not speculated. You don't hear about it in papers or Twitter accounts or whatever for days on end. Yes, he was linked with the position very early on, but so were a number of other people.
So as Sam pointed out there, a lot of his work maybe with the men. Do you agree with that? Where don't neglect the women, because we've just talked about that, but his priority is the men.
I think he'll try and split it 50-50. Hopefully he would do it. But
I don't think it'll be 50-50.
But if it's not that, it'll probably be 75% of the men, 25% of the women, and then leading, letting Sue and Becky do a thing. But then obviously what Joe said earlier, he'll say if you need any advice, I'm here. I'm always here. Just if you need any advice, just come to me, and I'll try and help you out.
I don't think it'll be that high. I think it'll probably be 10 to 15% to begin with, and hopefully that gradually gets bigger. Last question, and then we will wrap up. It's a fairly short podcast, but we did it in person, so
I see what you did there, because it's actually getting nippy there.
What did I do there? Did I just do a pun or something?
Yeah, because you said, after this we're going to wrap up.
Okay.
That went over my head, that one.
That went over my head,
that one.
I didn't mean to do that.
Well done. See, you can't come with me with the pun.
I didn't mean to do that. The last question of the day then. Is a sporting director a good thing for the lasses, or is it a hindrance?
I'd say it's a good thing, bring the sports director in, because it's for the lasses, it's more it's obviously a brand new thing, but it's more it's how the club's progressing. So we're taking obviously we went professional, we're now getting a sports director in. We are aiming to be the best team in England.
Joe, to touch down on what we were saying before about the percentages of how much it's going to invest, I think at first it's not going to be a great thing for the lasses. Not as a whole, because there's going to be many people who think, there should be more investment in the lasses team and such, and there's a lot of that going on which we already know of, to the point where they're good on what they have right now and what they are getting. Why does Paul Mitchell need to then take his resources and invest more time and effort into that right now when they are it ain't broke, he doesn't need to fix it. Yes, he will eventually add to it, and I believe in that. I think at first, playing devil's advocate, I just don't think it's going to really be an effect at all for better or worse. It's just going to be Paul Mitchell's here at the club, and he helps Sue and Becky out now and then. In a year or two's time when they're in the Super League, then it'll be a massive benefit. But right now, it is what it is.
Because did Dan Ashworth have anything to do with the women a great deal?
Who?
Yeah, the guy who would... He's out there in the garden.
Dan!
He's out there in the garden. No, he's off garden. He's finished his plants and that. He's been allowed out of his garden now. But let's just hope he sticks around. And my only concern is that, not a clash, because that's not the right word, but let's just say Becky wants a right back, and he says no, we've got this right back instead. That's the bit where I think ultimately, easy for me to say, the playing squad, it's got to be down to Becky first, because she's the one who's worked with them. I don't want to become a situation where suggestion players to her, which will happen, but she has to have the final say in my eyes. A bit like Eddie Howe has the final say. But there was another thing as well when, I don't know if you remember when Dan Ginger come in. He's helping the commercial side of things. He's the guy who brought the live streams in Kingston Park.
Yeah.
So that was a clever idea which no one's done before. Now, well, everyone's, but we'll have to see for legal reasons. I don't think that's going to happen next season because the FA can replay the games. But that was an idea where, wait a minute, Brainwave, you get an extra 20,000 viewers there live, 20,000 viewers for the women. Great, you probably get a few of them come to the next home game or want to go to the next away game, etc., etc. So it's little things like that where you've got to think outside the box. Because we were all worried, weren't we? It's like, no one's going to turn up in December. But thankfully, the Tens is the loyalists. So thank you very much to all you for turning up in them cold winter months.
I know,
but
-1.
yeah, we're going to wrap up here. We're going to be doing a special one on the next one, so keep an eye on that because me and Joe have been talking off camera. We're going to be talking about maybe some stuff that is developing. That's all we will say. But from enjoy yourself.
Just getting ready to wrap up.
See what you did there.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
You can go home for tea now.
Yeah, home for tea.
Hey.
Been crying on again, yeah, all time. Right, that's it, everybody. We will love yous and leave yous here at the Corner House pub in Jasmine Dean, I call it that, or Heaton, whatever. Let us know where we are. Cheers, everyone. Bye.